Bruno Guimarães to Arsenal is a huge statement of intent. We all know what he can do, but where does he fit into this Arsenal side? We're joined by Opta analyst Ollie Hopkins to discuss the transfer further. Ollie, thank you for joining us again. How are you?
I am very good. How are you, Jordan?
I'll be honest, I'm jealous. I think Guimarães is one of the best midfielders in the league, and it would be a huge signing for Arsenal. But how key has he been to Newcastle since joining?
Yeah, I mean, this one I think would be an absolute bombshell, to be honest, if Arsenal did, or anyone really did, manage to prize Guimarães away from Newcastle. He is Mr. Newcastle. He is their captain, their leader, their best player. He is always available. You know, since he joined in Newcastle back in February 2022, he's missed just 16 games in the Premier League in 4.5 seasons. That is like a remarkable show of, I guess, not only how much Eddie Howe wants to play him all the time, but the fact that he can play. In those 16 games he's not featured in, they've won just 2 of those matches. That's a 12.5% win rate compared to 52.3% when he does play. So that kind of shows you like his impact and his effect when he's out of that team, and how much they basically rely on his presence and him being always available and always around.
One thing I find interesting, how has his role and style of play developed over the last 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, I think we have this perception of Guimarães as this deeper lying, maybe like more of a destroyer type player where he's, tackling a lot, winning a lot of duels, getting stuck in a lot, and perhaps lacking a bit of the technical qualities of a more advanced player. But I think if we look at his touch map from last season compared to the season beforehand, he's playing a lot further forwards. He's pushing up into that sort of like right-hand side half space as a right-sided number 8. Yeah, I mean, his output kind of speaks for itself. He scored 9 goals last season for Newcastle, which was his highest in a season, but also Newcastle's top scorer last season as well in the Premier League, and also got 5 assists, which again was a team high. And so you kind of get the sense that he's almost doing everything. He is, he's winning duels, he's leading the team, scoring the goals, creating the goals. Like this player is just so important for Newcastle.
We know how good he is on the ball, and his stats prove that. But Arteta wants someone elite off the ball as well. Does Guimarães fit into that category?
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely. We have seen Arteta and Berta definitely favour a certain profile when it comes to their transfers. They have clearly prioritised physicality when buying players. Arteta demands a lot of his players physically, in duels, a lot of hard running, and so getting someone like Guimarães, who, let's be honest, can do that side of the game really, really well, is kind of like a match made in heaven, really. When you kind of compare his numbers off the ball with Arsenal's other midfielders, he actually ranks very favourably in that regard. So last season won 6.1 duels per 90, which is the most of him plus any Arsenal midfielders. I think next on that list was Mendy at 4.6, and he ranks, again, he tops all Arsenal midfielders for tackles won and ranked highly for recoveries too. So he is great off the ball and will add real sort of steel and physicality to the midfield.
Look, there's no doubt in his quality, but I think the key question is, where does he fit into the Arsenal side? Surely a player like that can't be sitting on the bench.
I think you don't sign someone like Bruno Guimarães and have them not be a starter. I think he is that level of play, and he would expect to start every game if he were to join the club. So, he's another player who is 29. He's literally in his peak, in his prime. I think he comes in and starts more often than not. Yeah, it's funny. Like you look at Arsenal's squad and midfield on paper, and it looks like they are pretty well stocked. So they got good depth there. But suddenly, then you kind of think about, okay, well, Christian Norgard clearly wasn't really a success last season. Didn't really play at all. There's a bit of lack of trust there. I think he might move on. Odegaard is, I suppose, he's less reliable physically with injuries recently, and so suddenly take those 2 people out of the equation, and actually you do need a bit of more bodies in midfield. I think Arsenal again will probably play, if all goes well, they'll play 65 games this season, going deep in all 4 competitions, and you need legs, and you need genuine Premier League quality legs in midfield. We have seen someone like Declan Rice is struggling a bit with a long season, and having someone who can play alongside Rice, or indeed, relieve Rice if he is just play every game and is knackered. That is so important.